The movie starts with a killer in a baseball cap who went to a certain man. He took money to buy a bomb after the man had told him that it was in a BMW car. The man died of poisoning with the same effect as the bomb. The killer set fire on him and left him and his belongings burning. Ethan and Nora, a married couple, and were expecting a baby soon, and they were happy in their family. Ethan and Nora prepared themselves for work on Christmas Eve. Ethan worked as a security guard and Nora worked as a manager at Lex Airport. Nora could feel back looking like a boss to his husband. He asked Ethan to at least ask for promotion at his workplace, because it's Ethan who followed her to always have lunch with her. They proceeded to work in a worker's bus to the airport. While waiting for his wife, he was knocked by a person and he wished him a happy Christmas. It seemed Ethan was late for a meeting and ran so fast to catch up with the colleagues, and he almost missed everything told by his commander. He then went to his commander and asked for a promotion, and the boss first refused. He followed him up to the office and finally he was promoted. He was given a scanning duty swapping with Jason, which made him happy. He immediately sent a message to his wife to tell her about the good news. Here comes a white van and the man inside had kidnapped someone. He went to his computers and hacked into the airport cameras. His wife told him that she was curious about the good news. Ethan went to the table and started the scanning duty. The man, the van, and the terrorist had planned to use Jason, Ethan's friend, but Ethan had taken the position, which made them change their minds. They researched Ethan Kopek and they got to know all about him. A few moments later, a woman who was waiting for her things to be scanned told him that one of the packages wasn't hers. Ethan picked the package and it was an earpiece, as he was going to put it on the list of lost and found. He received a message commanding him to put the earpiece on. He put it on and the man started commanding him on what to do. He first thought he was planked but his friend, Edda, but the man told him he wasn't. He went to the table and he was told to leave whatever was going to come, with a man in a red baseball cap and black suitcase. He was so curious to know who was doing all that to him while looking around. He asked whether he was being seen and they told him he was monitored. The statement threw him a mile away, wondering how they came to know about him. He was then commanded to lock his phone in lost and found materials. He went back to the table panicking, and he was told that any move he does, Nora will die. Here comes a female detective known as Elena. She was going to investigate the place where the terrorist bought the bomb, and she got some evidence there and went with it. Ethan was very tense with anything. He thought of texting using an encrypted language on his, but he was caught. He was told to cancel the text and take the watch where the phone was kept. The terrorist was paced off and he warned him because he knew everything about him and his parents, and he threatened to hurt them if he doesn't hearken to commands. Detective Elena continued with investigations and she came across an audio tape. Suddenly, a plate fell down and the baby also cried. Ethan heard those sounds both near him and in the earpieces. He also heard the person eating and the machines near him, and that was the terrorist. He did a move and caught one of the passengers' luggage and wrote information on a card. Unfortunately, he was noticed by the terrorist on the camera. The police officer was then killed by the terrorist, and they alleged it as a heart attack. He told Ethan's stories while going to kill the police officer, and finally he got to see his face. Nora heard about the news and called Ethan's phone, but it wasn't going through. The terrorist met Ethan and blamed him for his stupid moves that have made the officer killed. He was then told to wait for the man known as Matteo to bring the suitcase with the bomb. He was then ordered to find a way of getting his friend Jason off duty. As a smart boy, he saw him taking coffee and went and made coffee mixed with alcohol. After that, he reported to the commander that he was working while drunk. Finally, Matteo arrived at the airport with a black suitcase for checkups. Ethan scanned the suitcase and saw the bioweapons inside it. He reminded Matteo not to forget his card and he was told to let him go. He couldn't contain it. He went for a short call and the terrorist followed him there. He asked the man why he wanted to kill people. He was told that the terrorist was just working for money, and continued and told him that it kills slowly by causing internal bleeding. Breaking all organs? He was commanded not to break the routine to go and have a lunch break with Nora, so as not to create attractions. He went and had a lunch break with his wife but was under monitoring. Detective Jonah came to meet Elena to discuss the crime. Elena had investigated well and had a mistrust in Jonah. She resolved to go meet Ethan at the airport. Because she had got to know all about the terrorism going to happen, she resolved to go to the airport to meet Ethan, and Jonah decided to go with her. She informed the police and all lines at the airport were shut. They were all called for a meeting to find some smugglers. Ethan picked a scheduling device and activated it using the commander's key. He entered Mateo's details so that to be held back with his belongings. Ethan boldly told the terrorist that it is over and ran to save his wife. The terrorist informed his colleague and Nora was gunpoint by the sniper. He was told not to vomit any word or else his wife's brain was going to be poured. He went away without saying any word to his wife, and Nora was wondering what had happened. He went to the washrooms for a short call and he was followed by the terrorist. He was kicked and patched seriously, and the Duke-case Ethan got a pistol from him. He put him on gunpoint and told him to free him if he confirms Nora's safety. The terrorist picked his phone and instead started the bomb and gave him 10 minutes. He asked him to go and deactivate and let 5,000 people to die in a plane or 10,000 to die on an airport. He ran to deactivate the bomb and he was commanded to shoot the commander. When he reaches there, he entered and pointed the gun at his commander, but he failed to shoot him. Mateo then picked a pen and ended the commander. When he attacked Mateo, he came to realize that he was also being flamed by the terrorist. They worked together and Ethan managed to deactivate the bomb on instructions. When Elena was driving with Jonah to the airport, he came to know she was with the wrong guy. She pointed the gun at him and their car crushed. When he was trying to strangle her, Elena shot him. He came out of the car and got another one to the airport. When Mateo was taking the suitcase with Ethan, Mateo was given to his kidnapped brother. He was told to kill Ethan for his brother to stay alive. While walking, Ethan saw Mateo pointing the gun at him from the mirror. He dodged the bullets and the suitcase fell down on the conveyor belts and he followed it. Mateo shot at Ethan, and when the bullets got done, it burst on him and he died. Ethan got hold of Mateo's phone and told Eddie to inform his wife about the terrorist in place. The terrorist came tracking the suitcase and told Ethan to take it to him. Ethan left him bag and the earpiece on its top. The terrorist wished him a Merry Christmas and proceeded for his flight. When Nora came to understanding about the situation, he went outside the airport. A white van came behind chasing to knock her and she survived. When Elena came close to Ethan, she wanted to arrest him. He refused and ran to save his wife. She defended herself and cried out for help and Ethan heard her. Ethan came to Nora and it's Mateo who shot the killer. The killer's suitcase never fitted into the cabin and was taken into the cargo. Ethan told Nora to help him allow the plane take off so that he came find a way in there. He ran and got a truck to the plane and entered the cargo cabin. Nora approached Elena and assured her as Ethan can defuse the bomb. The plane was then allowed to take off when Ethan was already inside. Ethan went to the suitcases and picked the target and opened it. The terrorist got a notification as the suitcase was interrupted with and went there to check. He shot Ethan, picked the suitcase from the fridge and was wearing a parachute to leave. When the terrorist opened the suitcase, he didn't find the cylinder there. Ethan pushed him and threw the cylinder into the fridge with him. The terrorist died in pain as the plane was landing on an emergency airport. Thanks to Ethan for a great job, which secured 1,000 and everything went in control. Ethan was then called for a call by Detective Elena. After a couple of months, Ethan was going for a vacation with his family, and he was recruited as a police officer. Thanks for watching.